Hey, this is Scott Lara, president of militaryfairs.com, your one-stop shop for travel. If you're a member of the military, if you're a veteran like I am, or a family member of a military person, go to militaryfairs.com. Cruises, all-inclusive resorts, hotels, and especially airfare. Militaryfairs.com, 24/7, all over the world. It's not just U.S. If you're in England, if you're in Germany, Italy, Spain, wherever you are, we can take care of you. militaryfairs.com. Of course, I'm going to talk about cruising, and let's talk about the issue of gratuities, also known as tips. Now, the only cruise line that I know of off the top of my head that does not charge gratuities and tips is Virgin Voyages. I was on Virgin Voyages last year, loved every minute of it, no tipping, no gratuities. Now, did I give my cabin steward some money? Absolutely, I did. I wanted to just show the cabin steward my appreciation, and my brother-in-law and I actually sailed on that ship together, and the cabin steward was very thankful. But when you go on other cruises, Carnival, NCL, Royal Caribbean, when you go to a bar to get a drink, the drink may be $8, and then you look at the bottom of your receipt and there's a gratuity added on to the top of it. So that is that. Now, I've been cruising for over 12 years now. Holland America, Royal Caribbean, NCL, MSC, you name it. And gratuities have gone up. I think on some cruise lines, $13, $14, $15, $16 a day per person for gratuities. Now, you're going to say, hey, Scott, and I'm going to say, hey, what? Well, what are those gratuities for? Is that just for your cabin steward? No. Yes, it is for your cabin steward, but it's also for people behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. You know, that guy washing the dishes, that guy making the chocolate souffle, that guy, scooping ice cream, that young lady scooping ice cream. It goes for a lot of those people behind the scenes, we're told. And there's been a lot of controversy about that. Some people say, oh, the greedy cruise lines are just keeping this big pot of money. And now you figure, and I can't add this high, but $16 a day times 3,000 passengers times 7 days is a big pot of money. Do the cruise lines just bring it in and bring it to corporate? Or are they, dishing it out, to the employees? Well, my gut tells me that the cruise lines are honorable and they are giving it to the employees. I really believe that. I don't think that they're that cheap or that cruel, because if they did do that, I don't think people from Indonesia and the Philippines and all these other places would want to serve on a cruise ship, to be away from their family and friends for months on end without being compensated. Now, and I know here in America, that waiters and waitresses don't make a big base salary. They rely primarily on tips for their compensation. And that's the way it is on cruises and at all-inclusive resorts. And as you know, I'm a big fan of the Palladium Hotel Group. And a lot of people who go to Palladium, I've seen online, oh, we bring coloring books, and we bring coloring books, we bring chocolate, we bring toys from the dollar store to give to the people at the resorts. And I, on my channels, always say, great, do that on top of the tips, because a coloring book is not going to pay for a flat tire. A coloring book is not going to pay electricity. A coloring book is not going to pay for when that kid gets that ear infection and needs to get amoxicillin. Can't take a color. It's not like Little House on the Prairie, where you bring in a chicken and Doc Brown is from Back to the Future, but Doc Brown is going to take care of Timmy's ear for a chicken or for a coloring book. So I always encourage my audience, especially when they go to all-inclusive resorts, sure, bring the chocolate. But again, that goes back to culture, because Americans were used to tipping. But in other cultures that will remain nameless, they tend not to tip. They think all-inclusive means all-inclusive, so they don't need to pay anything on top. And then they wonder why they don't get good service or this, that, and the other. And it's just being, the right thing to do. It's the good thing. It's the Christian thing to do. And again, if you're a Christian or not, it's just the right thing to do to be able to bless somebody. And a very good friend of mine woke up this morning and put on her Facebook, she didn't have hot water here in Jacksonville, Florida. I guess her hot water heater went out. And she mentioned, we have it so good here in the United States. And boy, that's a fact. We're not in Ukraine dodging missiles. I have a friend who lives in Ukraine who is dodging missiles. He and his family are dodging them. And we are so blessed here. And for the hot water heater to go out, you know, to be able to get it fixed or get a new one, or if you have a home warranty like I do, thank you, Choice Warranty, you can get it fixed and you got your hot water back on. The point I'm trying to say is with gratuities or tips is that you need to budget that in when you go on a cruise. Now, I will say this, and it may come over the top, but if you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to cruise. You really shouldn't go on a cruise. And especially if you take kids, you know, the waiters are bringing the kid hot chocolate or chocolate milk, or, you know, Timmy, you know, spills something and the waiter's got to wipe it up, or, you know, the room steward has to pack Timmy and Brittany's bed, you know, make the bed. But, and I can tell you, when we were on the Carnival Liberty, the cabin steward and the crew really went up above and beyond for my grandsons. So I think tipping is important. Now, when you go on a cruise, you will see the last night of the cruise before the cruise ship is pulling back into Fort Lauderdale or Port Canaveral or Jacksonville, a line 6 miles long at guest services. And please don't tell me that 90% of those people have got their receipts and they're saying, hey, wait, this one drink on here, I didn't charge this one drink. I believe that many of the people in that line are taking off their tips. What? Because this is how it works, right? On Carnival, at least, you know, every day you get hit with that $16 per person in your cabin, right? And you can go down to the kiosk and look at your bill. I mean, in real time, what's being charged. If it's photos, if it's drinks, if it's, you know, whatever, you're going to see it on the kiosk. Or you could go to guest services and get a printout and you could see your line item charges. But I think what happens is 9 times out of 10, people are not going to the kiosk every day and making certain everything is, you know, Johnny, you know, you got an accountant, right? A CPA who wants to make sure, man, I don't want to pay for one thing I didn't pay for, you know, no. So I think that 9 out of 10 people on the night before, you know, if they get it under their door or if they, you know, finally wake up and go to the kiosk, oh, Jiminy Christmas, 16 times 7 days times 2 people. Oh my gosh. Well, let's just say it's $20 a day, just because I'm blonde, I don't have a gallbladder. 20 times 7, right? 140 times 2, 280, right? So $280, man, that Caitlin spent that on pictures, or Billy spent that at the casino. We lost $280. Well, we're just going to take our tips off and then we'll break even. Well, you know, if you can't afford to tip, you shouldn't go on a cruise, in my opinion. But I get it. I mean, there's parents, they have Timmy and Brittany. Timmy's 7, Brittany's 5. Oh, we don't want to pay tips on these 2 little kids. Well, you should still pay tips on the kids. The crew is taking care of them if they go to the kids club, or, you know, if the waiters or waitresses are being extra nice to the kids, bringing them the children's menu, bringing them the crayons. Hey, Timmy. Hey, Brittany. Hi. You know. So anyway, that's what gratuities and tips are. Leave your comments in the comments below. Let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me, if you like my hair, if you think I'm wearing a wig, which I'm not. Leave a comment down there about tips. Are you in favor? Are you opposed? Or you want to go on Virgin Voyages, adults only, and not have to worry about tips and gratuities. Scott Lara, president of military affairs.com.